Hi everyone, it's Nicole and today I'm bringing you my July TBR. So there are two readathons that I'm going to be participating in the month of July. First one is the Pop Culture Readathon, the 2000s round, and the second one is the Tarot Readathon. First, I'm going to talk about the Pop Culture Readathon. That runs all month long, and it is hosted by Whitney over at Books With Me and Lauren over at Reading Parent. I think, not counting the mini rounds, I think this is the third big round that's lasting a month long. And the theme for this round is 2000s. So there are 4 bingo boards that you can choose from. I chose Thrill Seekers. I will post it here for you. The first prompt is Ginger Snaps. Read a book featuring a shifter. And for that one, I'm reading Legend of the Highland Dragon by Isabel Cooper. I've had Isabel Cooper for a couple of years now on my shelf, but I just never picked it up. And then I saw a Twitter thread. Someone was talking about her books and it just sounds super interesting, and I'm like, I have those books, so I'm definitely going to give them a try. It's a historical paranormal, which is interesting in and of itself because usually paranormals you have a contemporary or a more modern setting, but this one it's based in historical times in the Scottish Highlands. So I'm very, very excited to be diving into that. The next prompt is Donnie Darko, read a YA horror novel. And for that one, I'm reading Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. I think when this book came out, everybody was talking about it on BookTube, and I just never got around to it. I read predominantly romance, so other genres like horror kind of get pushed to the back burner until there are readathons where a prompt calls for them. So I didn't read this when this was popular, but I really do like Claire Legrand. I really like her fantasy series, the Imperium series. So I have a feeling I'm gonna like this one too. Next one is Paranormal Activity, read a ghost story. And for that one, I'm reading Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendar Blake. I've had this book on my Kindle for such a long time, and I just never got into it. Kendar Blake, that name sounds very familiar. Kendar Blake. I know I've read something by this author. I cannot for the life of me think of it right now, but I know I've read something by this author, and I already have this book, and so that's another reason to read it. I don't know a whole lot about this book. I know Anna Dressed in Blood is a ghost, and our male main character is a ghost hunter, and I think he might have lost a parent. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna stop before I dig myself a hole because I have no idea. I vaguely remember what this book is about. The next prompt is Twinkies, read a book with food on the cover. And for that one, I'm reading Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chen. This is a cozy mystery series. I've had these on my shelf for a while, I think since last year. And I love cozies. I just never got around to this one, but I'm very excited to be reading it. I know a lot of people, like Courtney over at Cortagonist, she really likes this book, and some of my other cozy mystery loving friends do as well. I don't know what's taking me so long. And I don't know why I keep buying books in the series if I haven't even read the first one. It's just a thing that I do. The next prompt is Zodiac, read a book published in the month you were born. So I was born in July. It's my birthday month. And for that prompt, I'm going to be reading Skin by Aveda Weiss. This actually comes out this month on the 16th, and I am so excited. I started reading their books for Hoathon, and Skin is book number 2 in the Fangs with Benefits series, and I loved the first one, Feed. If you haven't read their books, please do. They have 2 out right now. One is Headless, which is a Sleepy Hollow retelling, and the second one is Feed, which is Fangs with Benefits. It is featuring a death moth fairy and a succubus, and it is so steamy, so hot, so swoony. You will not regret it, I promise. The next prompt is Jennifer's Body, read a book with a femme fatale character, and for that one I'm reading The Princess Will Save You by Sarah Henning. 2 things gravitated me towards this book. One, it's supposed to be a Princess Bride retelling, which I love Princess Bride. I love that movie so much. And also Sarah Henning, I really liked The Sea Witch, the first book, not so much the second book, but those 2 things, and the cover is just fantastic. Okay, 3 things. 3 things gravitate me towards this book. All those things, I can't wait to read this book. I feel like it's going to be amazing, and I'm worried that my expectations are this high, but I can't wait to read it. The next prompt is Eight-Legged Freaks, read a book featuring phobias, and for that one, I'm reading Hunting a Killer by Nicole Helm. This is book number 4 in the Tactical Crime Division Traverse City series. Jenton and I read this series for the Who Picked This Book Club, and I just never got around to finishing it, so I should say we read the first 3. sorry. I just never got around to finishing it. So phobias. Some people are afraid of dogs, and this book features the canine unit of the Tactical Crime Division. So I'm just forcing it into that, making it work. If I didn't read Ensnared for the Hoathon, I could have made that work for this prompt. So if you're looking for a phobia for this prompt, definitely read Ensnared by Tiffany Robert. It features spiders and 8-legged freaks. God, that would have been perfect. Hindsight. The next prompt is Men in Black 2, read a sequel. And for that one, I'm bringing Lightbringer by Claire Legrand. Like I said previously, I love this series so much. I just have not gotten around to reading that final book. I am worried about how it's going to end, but I am very excited as well. Next prompt is Cabin Fever, read a book featuring woods or the forest. And for that one, I'm reading Deceived by Julie Ann Lindsay. This is one of her older books, YA horror, I believe. And just based on the synopsis, this does feature woods and forests. I think the main character is like trapped in the woods or something's hunting her. So that just works for this prompt. The next prompt is Curse, read a book featuring a curse that needs to be broken. And for that one, I'm reading Scent of Darkness by Christina Dodd. The next prompt is The Ring, read a book with a 7-word title. And I saw this prompt. I always go for like the kind of spookier boards or something to that effect when doing the pop culture readathon. And so I was excited to pick this board, and when I saw this prompt, I about lost my mind. I'm like, really? I'm really good friends with both Whitney and Lauren, and so I tagged them and I'm like, read a book with a 7-word title? Are you kidding me? It was Lauren's idea, so blame her. But in all honesty, I found a book pretty quickly, and one that I own already, so I'm very excited. And that is Never Judge a Lady by Her Cover by Sarah McLean. This is book number 3 in a series. I've read book number 1. I haven't read book 2, which is killing me to skip this book and go to the 3rd, but I need it for this prompt. And the last prompt is the Skeleton Key. Read a book featuring bones in the title or on the cover. And for that one, I'm reading Penny Dreadful, The Beauticious Evil. This is the 2nd book in the kind of ongoing series. It's actually a graphic novel that is a continuation from the show Penny Dreadful. I really adored this show so much, and if you kind of like horror or spooky or paranormal aspects in your show, please give this a watch because it is so good. So this is the comic book continuation. I read the first one, The Awakening, so I'm just continuing on, and you can see from the cover in the back behind Vanessa, there is a big skull looking thing, so I'm making it work for this prompt. So that's it for the pop culture readathon. The next readathon I'm going to be talking about is the tarot readathon, and my friend Daijah over at Daijah's Book World is co-hosting this, and I'm going to be on her team. So this readathon goes from July 10th to July 24th. So each person that is participating, you get to choose a team. Those teams are Cups, Wands, Swords, and Pentacles, and I chose Team Cups because Daijah is the captain of Team Cups, and each book you read, you submit it on this form and it counts as points towards your team. And the prompts are all based on the tarot deck, which I don't have a tarot deck, but they have like a tarot deck generator actually, which is pretty cool. There'll be a document in the description so you have all access to all the stuff and the prompts, because there are quite a few prompts. Daijah had an idea when I was watching her announcement video to kind of pick cards as you go, and whatever prompt it is, you just kind of pick a book based on that prompt, but not picking ahead of time. So I thought that was actually a really cool idea, so I'm stealing it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the tarot card generator to pick a card, and that's going to be my first, whatever prompt is on there. Each card translates to a prompt, which you have to pick a book. I'm definitely going to be vlogging these experiences as well, so you'll get to see that, me getting the card and picking a book based on the prompt. But, so I'm really excited. I'm really excited for that. So, like I said, all of the information for both of these readathons will be linked in the description box. If you're participating in any of these readathons or another readathon, let me know in the comments. I would love to know what other readathons are out there. I know that there is a bunch always going on, and I love it. Don't forget to like my video if you did, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on all the social media platforms. The links will be in the description box below. See you next time, avid readers.